Believe me, there are definitely a few times where I've tried to quit Google Maps throughout my nearly 9 years of rideshare driving because there are issues with it, but I always come back to it. Here's why. So recently, some of the long-standing issues that I've had with Google Maps caused me to try a different primary navigation app, and that app was Apple Maps. There are definitely some things I liked about Apple Maps in comparison to Google Maps. One thing is, as you're approaching an intersection and you're going to make a turn, the app will zoom out and show you a route overview or an overhead view of your route. I really liked that and wish Google Maps would incorporate that. And also, since I own an iPhone and Apple Maps is their primary navigation app, I felt like it's more in sync with the phone than Google Maps is. But one major issue that Apple Maps has, and it cost me some time one time, is as you're approaching an off-ramp, just a random off-ramp, maybe the off-ramp that's directly before your actual off-ramp, it will do a footage countdown to that off-ramp, and then it will tell you to continue onto the freeway to continue to your actual off-ramp. I don't know why it counts down that footage. The first time I noticed this, I actually got off on that off-ramp where it was counting down the footage, but that was my off-ramp that was before my actual off-ramp, so it did cost me time. It's a really ridiculous, confusing, and unnecessary feature. I have no idea why it's incorporated in the app, especially for those of us that have always used Google Maps. Google Maps gives you the footage countdown only when you're approaching your exit or your destination, never when you're approaching just a random off-ramp. So after I kept seeing this occur over and over in Apple Maps, I just got sick of it and I stopped using Apple Maps altogether and then went immediately back to Google Maps. Now, another third-party nav option is Waze. I personally don't like Waze. I've never really liked Waze. I'm really not a big fan of the design aesthetic. I also don't like it that it's basically, once your navigation starts, it tries to be a set it and forget it app. So basically, it just wants you to concentrate on your driving and not have to worry about the navigation. But it's not perfect. If it were perfect, sure. If it always knew all road closures and it always gave me the most efficient route, then I would be okay with it being a set it and forget it app. But again, it's not perfect. I personally always want to be able to see an overview of my route as I'm driving, and Waze makes it difficult to see that overview. You have two options. One is where you slide the map manually and then you can see the route overview, or the other option is where you toggle up the bottom bar and then you can see the route overview. I don't want to have multiple steps to see that route overview. I want there to be one button where I can see that route overview. Now, Google Maps, there's a reason that 99% of the time while I've been driving rideshare for my nearly 9 years, I've used Google Maps. I personally love the design aesthetic of the app, but the main reason is there are 3 main things that you can do very easily during navigation. And the main thing is there is a specific button to view the route overview. And this ease of access to the route overview also parlays into the next thing that I like. You can easily view and select routes. I'm always very attuned and interacting with my navigation because the less mileage, the better. And some of those routes that Google chooses aren't ideal from a mileage perspective, so I'm always viewing and wanting to know the other options. And the last main thing that Google Maps allows me to do, and this is kind of nitpicky from me personally, is it allows me to exit the ride during navigation with the click of one button. Again, this isn't a big issue and something that I just like personally, and both Apple Maps and Waze don't provide that option. And here's a quick comparison of all 3 third-party nav apps. Google Maps definitely gives you the most options that are available at one click during the ride. But again, the 3 main things that I love are that route overview button, and then after you've selected that route overview, you can see other route options, and also that exit button that's available right there with one click. Again, with Waze, there's multiple touches that you have to make in order to see that route overview, but Apple Maps does have a specific route overview button just like Google Maps. And again, for me personally, Google Maps has that exit button. With both Waze and Apple Maps, you have to slide up the bottom bar to exit navigation. So again, Google Maps is the nav app that I prefer and have preferred for most of my rideshare driving experience. Ideally, I wouldn't need to use a third-party navigation app and I could just stay within Uber and use their navigation. But it isn't always reliable. It doesn't pick up on all road closures. And this is a problem with Google Maps as well. Google Maps doesn't pick up on all road closures. Sometimes there'll be a road closure on Google Maps that won't be on the Uber nav, but this is actually vice versa. There's times where a closure will be on the Uber nav and not be on Google Maps. That's why I rely on both. Navigation is very important. You want to reduce that mileage as much as possible. possible. You want to be avoiding those road closures and also have the most efficient route from a mileage perspective. And I love Google Maps the most because of how prevalent and available they make other routes. They allow you to see the map, view it, and see from that overview what is the most efficient route from a mileage perspective. Now again, I have been looking for and have tried other nav options, so there are obviously outstanding issues with Google Maps that need to be addressed. And I'm actually going to tackle those issues in another video. I personally have the list of issues that I have, but what about all of you? Are there issues that you have? Leave a comment below and let us know. Thanks again for watching and drive safe. Thanks.